The Arty 84 Show.
All right. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Arty 84 Show. It is Friday. Well, it's either Friday or Monday when we do the show, and it's Friday. This is episode 244. We're broadcasting live from our outdoor studio here in Massachusetts, and we're going to be trying some new things today. I have enhanced my my little mini studio that I have right here, so hopefully it would be helpful for everyone to help out. So, of course, it's happy hour, as of course. We all know what everyone else is drinking, but we're drinking it today, a Voodoo Ranger IPA, which I got at Grand Central Station last weekend. Because, well, basically what happened was we were in New York, and I decided I was going. I think we talked about this on Monday a little bit. I felt ambitious enough to have a beer on the train ride home, not estimating how tired I was from a day of drinking at a ball game, and basically being up for 12 hours in intense heat at a walking around New York. So I did not drink my beer. I bought it for $13 at a Grand Central Station little food court restaurant, and I saved it because I figured I could drink it today. So that's what's going to happen today. So we got a few things to talk about in this half-hour show. As always, remember to subscribe to DJ Arty 84 here on DJ 84 Comedy here on Facebook to get this show live twice a week. Also on YouTube, we have joined a new network. Actually, I started the new network, and I joined myself. How's that sound? It is called the Masshole Sports Network, and basically it's taken over the DJ Arty 84 Comedy page on YouTube. But the Masshole Sports Network is basically going to be a newer and stronger version of the Packy in which we used to do. And we ran for about 10 years, and we shut that down 2017. Actually, it was more. In 2022, we shut that down. We started in 2012. So it ran 10 years. It was just losing this track a little bit. A lot of weird stuff went involved. Things we could have done better, things we couldn't fix, things we couldn't save. The fact that it was called the Packy was confusing a lot of Asian and European views, thinking it was a network for Pakistani people. And you wouldn't believe the amount of emails I had received from people asking if we were a Pakistani network. And of course, we weren't. So it goes about that. So one of the things I want to talk about first is actually, I hate talking about that. I don't want to talk about it. I got to talk about it. Is the Hawk Tuah girl. Are you guys familiar with her? I'm sure you have. You're going to be under a rock right now if you haven't seen this girl and her antics, if you will. Real interesting lady, if you will. If you don't know who she is, basically what she did was she was getting interviewed by these people on the streets up in Nashville, I think it was. And they asked her something about like, what do you do with your boyfriend? Or I'll play the clip. And she was like, Hawk Tuah as the innuendo as blowing spit on a peepee to give it a good old fashioned, if you know what I mean. So we got the clip right here. Let's see if we can share it with the world here. And I'm trying something new here, so I hope this works out for everyone out there. Let's see. There. I see myself right like that. Okay. There we go. Let's see if this works at all. Yeah, here we go. All right, cool. All right, so let's see the whole video. I'll play the whole video. It's only 26 seconds long. And I hope you guys can hear it. If you can't hear it, let me know. And to give you so then this is like I guess it's like a remix video. This is her after the fact. At the end to be maybe the volume was down again. Let's play that again. Okay, so basically she was on the streets of Nashville, and she did a Hawk Tuah thing. So that's interesting, I guess. Stop sharing. I'll go back to the main screen. And she became viral. In fact, people keep asking her to do. I'm still playing. Asking her to do like videos and sending her places. And if you're looking at her Instagram, she's like becoming very popular purely for the fact that she is just doing Hawk Chewy. So there's a mixed results. A lot of people, and a lot of people said that basically this should have been a one and done. Um, Maybe lasted a week. That's about it, and call it a day. But like people said it over the world, it's a thing I tend to notice with like these viral videos and stuff. Like remember that Kool-Aid guy who was he was basically on a skateboard and he uh was drinking cranberry juice to a Fleetwood Mac song, and for some reason it got a bazillion views. I don't know if you guys remember this person. For what reason, no one else. And then like it's kind of sad because if you go to his TikTok and you go and like that video got like a million views, and everything after that is got maybe like a couple hundred. So I really don't know like the significance. I'm not hating on the girl for capitalizing on trying to make some money, but at the end of the day, uh, good for her, I guess. I don't know. I just don't know if there's anything. There's no what's the word? There's nothing about it. She just said something, right? It's not like she did something and she can kind of redo it over again. So are they gonna have a hire her and send her to places to just basically go hawk chewy all the time? Is that gonna be like a catch line? Like she doesn't do comedy. She's not does music. She was just some chick on the street, and she went hawk chewy to some guy, describing an old fashioned and what one would do to an old fashioned. So like, what would you do? Like, you would hire her to go somewhere, right? So these people, like she on her thing, she's gonna be somewhere today, I guess, right? At like a hotel or something like that. So we're just gonna go on stage and be like, "All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have Hawk Chewy girl here for you," right? I mean, it was funny. It was like the girl who took her boobs out during the Edmonton Oilers game, right? And like her Facebook and Instagram blew up, right? Because everyone wants to see her, hoping that she's gonna have a replay. Now that's something that has material to it, right? Because she could just keep taking her boobs out at the end of the day, and people will watch it and probably enjoy it. The Hawk Chewy girl, is she going to come up with new taglines? You know, the second tagline's not going to be nearly as good as the first tagline. It's like the sequel is never as good as the main one. Right? You know what I mean? So it's very hard to say what the encore is going to be for Hawk Chewy, which is kind of disgusting, anyways. I mean, I'm sorry. I mean, I don't know. It's the most man sexiest thing I've ever heard in my life, to be honest with you. Like, not like she's like hawking up a loogie, right? I mean, am I wrong? Please tell me. I mean, maybe I don't. Maybe I'm just old and out of touch. Maybe I don't know what's going on in these days anymore. But I don't know. But I don't know. I just thought it was very very interesting, and you know, it is what it is. So, Hawk Chewy girl. If you either like it or you don't like it, I guess. Right at the end of the day. So that's all I can say about that. So, well, all right. We'll end it at that. Leave your opinions, what you think, what your opinion is of the Hawk Chewy girl. But another thing I wanted to talk about was last week we talked about happy hours. And if you remember, we went to the states that had happy hours, the states that didn't have happy hours. Whole reason Massachusetts doesn't have happy hour. Now, every year this happens, or at least I see every few years. The Mass Congress will put up a proposal for him to, try to reinitiate happy hour again. Now, I just read an article the other day that Indiana just got their happy hour back, right? And since they built a casino in Massachusetts, they've been talking about happy hour coming back to Massachusetts all the time. So this is a news article or a news report from Channel 5 Loco here in Boston, and I will play a little for you, and hopefully it plays. Okay, that's not bad. Rules adopted. All right. So okay, that's an interesting proposal right there. And because as we know, if you've been to Massachusetts and you notice we have no happy hour. We can't discount alcohol. There's a discrepancy. It has to be the same price for X amount of days. Yada yada yada. There's bars and everything get away with it. They have their ways to get around it and stuff like that. And we discussed all that. But at the same time, as someone who works at a restaurant that gets a lot of out of towners, it's a very constant conversation I have to have with people on the regular. So the restrictions are good. You can't discount. You can discount up to 10 o'clock, so you can have a after work happy hour, 3 to 5, three like they do in Florida, which is good to grab people in during your slow hours of your restaurant. Everyone in the restaurant knows you have a busy lunch from 11 to 2ish, and then from like 2:30 to basically 4:35, it's pretty dead. So if you have an incentive for people to come into the restaurant during that hours, it makes sense. And if you can sell, a beer, draft beers are usually a very popular one, right? Or 2-for-1 beers for drafts, right? Because you figure the overhead on those is so inexpensive. It's actually a good plan at the end of the day. So I'm curious what that's going to do. I know it gets shot down all the time. Every couple of years they propose this en masse, but like I think that a couple other states have just brought it back, and it will help sales. It will draw people to come to restaurants. Now, with the economy as it is right now, it is very, 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 um, very slow. People aren't going out as much as they are. If they're going out 3 times a week, now they're going out once a week, right? And it's because everything's so expensive. Like I said, like us four go to like say McDonald's real quick. It's 30 something plus dollars just for McDonald's. Happy Meals are almost like $8 now. I mean, for what? What are you getting? Right at the end of the day, you know what I mean? And it's a very tough thing for people working in the service industry, especially because we're all taxed tip based for the most part. And it just when you have your regulars that used to come in 3 or 4 times a week and now they only come in like once, it really does hurt the bottom line for what you make it and bring it home. And having an incentive for people maybe to come in for a beer or two after work. Usually, the idea of the happy hour is you have decreased price of beverages to bring people in, and then the turn is they spend a little money. So maybe after that, they have a beer, and I'll go for some chicken wings, or I can go for a little snack or something like that, and that will help boost your food sales. So that, at the end of the day, is the reason they want to do something like that. But the dog just got the bag of chips. There you go. All right, we saved the chips. We saved the chips here. I'm on the outside studio, so I get the kids roaming around over there with the dog. So I don't know. What do you think? Let me know below. What are your opinions on happy hour coming back to Massachusetts if you live in Massachusetts, or happy hour in general? Because I'm really interested because it was a way to combat drunk driving back in the 80s. I feel that I could be completely wrong, and maybe statistics, and you can prove me otherwise, that I think drunk driving is significantly down. I think there's more education to it. I think when they banned the drinking and driving in the 80s, it was a tough curve for people to get over, knowing that they can't drink while they drive. I mean, people used to drink while they drove, and it was completely legal. And I think at this point, the generation that it was banned were young people like myself who are now in their 40s, have already lived through what could happen to you and the consequences to be drinking and driving. And I think that we are well enough aware that it's a bad thing to do, and we don't have to kind of be babysat. We can kind of know our restrictions. And at the end of the day, you're an adult. You make your own decisions. So who, it comes down to it, like, all right, if you can't make the decision where you're not going to drive or not, then maybe you shouldn't be drinking at all. Maybe you shouldn't even be driving at all. So maybe losing your license is actually a good thing. And I get people have problems and addictions and stuff like that, but that's a whole different story. And we can talk hours for that. But I just want to know what your opinion is. Leave it below. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think about happy hour coming back to Massachusetts and the potential it coming back to Massachusetts. I know it'd be great for the casinos because then they don't have to dick-tack around all these ways to basically give free drinks out for people who are gambling. It's a good incentive for bars and restaurants who basically could use this extra help to bring in some sales during the slow times. I think the 10 o'clock cutoff is perfectly fine. Nothing good happens after 10. I think a lot of restaurants should probably be closed after 10 or 11 o'clock anyways, because at the end of the day, really nothing good happens. I can tell you that in my experience of that, usually after 11 o'clock, you're not getting the ideal clientele. I'll put it that way. How's that sound? Unless you're working like the second shift and you're getting off and you need something to eat and a quick drink. Those are the exceptions to the rules. But most of the time, it's people who have been drinking all day or coming back from drinking and think they need that one more. And sometimes they become a problem. And it's just an unnecessary problem that one does not need to even deal with. So I like the idea. I'm for it. It's going to be tough to get past in the liberal state of Massachusetts, but the oddity to me is that you can have weed delivered to your house here in Massachusetts. You can have booze delivered to your house in Massachusetts, but the happy hour thing is such a thing that I just don't understand that why it doesn't exist, and we'll leave it at that. But more importantly, we want to talk about something that's been really caught my attention today, especially if you're a male and you're looking to travel a little bit. Maybe you want to get away. Maybe you're sick of the United States and perhaps you want to do something a little different. Maybe you want to see new things, have new experiences, have some fun. And, we get rewarded for it, right? This is coming from Japan right now. And I looked into it and it fairly looks legit. Whether how legit it is, I do not know, but we will. That's what you guys are here for, to let me know what the legitimacy is of this. Let me share this for you guys over here. I'm loving this new share feature. It's working pretty great. I hope you guys are enjoying it too, and I hope it adds to the content of what you guys are watching over here. But this is a video I found. It says, to combat declining birth rates, Japan began to offer breeding visas to foreigners. So basically, they're inviting foreigners to come to Japan to have sex with Japanese women unprotectively to make babies. Too good to be true, one may say. A bit ironic, one may say. But I'll tell you, this seems to be a true thing. They want people to come there to have sex with their girls. Legal girls, of course. Women. Let's say women. Girls seems weird. They are encouraging people, foreigners of that, to come over and have sex with their women. Now, as in a national aspect of it, it seems like you'd be diluting the Japanese brand, I guess you could say. I guess you will. The nationality, the impact, the pureness of a Japanese person by allowing foreigners to come in to interbreed. Although on a plus, when there's a little Asian thrown into the mix, it does make attractive people. So that is a plus right there. I want to know what all the fine print says to this, right? Like, all right, you can go and come. Yeah, you go there to come, I guess, right? You go there to live in a visa, and I'm sure they're not just handing women over to you like a brothel. I'm sure you got to do your own legwork, right? So, but you're allowed to live there, and they probably give you a limitation of when you can live there, or they give you a timeline of when you got to start to reproducing before they kick you out. I guess they probably just don't want you over there just to hang out. They probably want you to have a little hanky panky. So let's play this. This is from a TikTok video I found. We'll play a little for you. Hopefully you can hear it. It says, to combat the decline rate, Japan to begin offering breeding visas. And this is the caption is every man in America, what they're doing right now. Run into Japan. I guess it's a plus, I guess. But I mean, I'm sure they're not just allowing guys to go over there and reproduce, right? Without any of the okay, it's still playing. All right, we got the point there. Thank you. Letting guys go over there to reproduce just to reproduce. I'm sure, like, I don't know what the child support or the support thing how it's structured over there in Japan, but I'm sure that you're still gonna have to contribute to the child at some sort, right? They don't have the handouts like they have in the United States here for people. So I think I think ideally, I think it's legitimately for someone who wants to go over to maybe live in Japan or change their lifestyle and have an easier way to get over there. And if you're a male, they're looking for you to produce anyway. So like they figure, all right, if a male goes over there, there's a good chance that you will have sex with a Japanese woman and make a baby to help the population. Now, why is the population so low? It's low everywhere. The generation after myself, which I believe I'm a millennial. I think they're the Gen Zs. Um, there was a lot of pressure put on them to have a career, have an education, especially women. Um, they wanted they sell college and everything to people like it's a sense of you have to go in there, you have to career, you have to dedicate yourself to your career, and that could be promising from some sort. I can see it being a very promising thing to be able to do it, man or woman. But you also have to make sacrifices, and I believe in the game of life. It's all about sacrifices. It's all about balancing your career with your family life, with your social life, and I feel that is the hardest thing as an adult, someone experience it to do. You have to make sure you have enough time for your kids. You have enough, make sure you have enough time for your wife. You have to make sure you have enough time for your job, and you also have to make sure you have enough time to live and do things you like, hobbies and stuff, or see some friends and everything. And a lot of times you can combine these two. If you have a friend that has a wife that gets along with your wife, you can do a double date or a triple date. You guys can go out and have a good time, and you can still have your time with your buddy, but you're also not taking away time for your wife. It's always easier that way. You get sports tickets, you better have four. It's easier than asking your wife. You can just take your buddy to a game, and then you're out all night, you're drinking. Next thing you know, you're at a strip club in Rhode Island, and you're getting a phone call at 5 o'clock in the morning because you're going to get bailed out of a Providence police station. Not saying that's happened to me, but I'm saying there's been times where that could have happened to me. But if you're with your wife, there's a little bit of a check and balance there. You're not going to do as much crazy stuff as you would as if you were. Good or bad, it's all depends on how you feel, right? And the same with kids too. I feel like my kids are too young at this point to be able to capitalize on hanging out with another couple or hanging out with another dad or something like that, and your kids are hanging out having a good time. I'm a little young for that. My kids are a little young for that. I'm too old for that, in fact. But I think that is something that at the end of the day can help you as well. Combining everything, right? And then work too. Work is kind of difficult. You're gonna have your work, right? There's a third of your week that's chiseled out for work. So, but I got off on a tangent. What was I talking? Oh, the balance of life, right? Careers. That's why these people in Japan aren't producing, because they're concentrating on their careers. Basically, that was the hell of a roundabout way to get to that point. I'll tell you that much. Holy crap, did I go? I went to Japan and back, if you will, to get to that point. So I don't know. I just think that it's a good thing to have a family. It's a good thing to have a career. If you and your significant other both have a career, at some point one of you will have to sacrifice a little to spend more time with the kids, and there's a compromise, there's a give and take there, and that is something that's discussed with the family. I mean, at the end of the day, there's no such thing as a single parent working these days. It's just the way the economy is. It's very expensive to live, and both people need to work. And there is a fine line between if both of them are working to make it worth the while, without having to getting babysitter, and there's the babysitting cost and the amount of money. If that's the case, then you can just, get rid of the babysitter. One of these just don't work, right? But usually you're making more income than the babysitters. It's a fine line. So I think that is something that should be discussed. I think you should have kids. I think you should continue your life stream. If you're not in the kids and you don't want them, then by all means, don't have them. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm not a psychologist, and I'm not your life coach, right? You do you, right? If you don't want kids, that's not something that's in the books. That's fine. But I think it is very I think if you do want kids, you shouldn't feel that the fact of having a career should prevent you from having kids, because before you know, you're gonna be too old and it's gonna be difficult. Remember, women after 35, it becomes very risky to have a child. And that's not just me saying that. You can find plenty of guys that have sex for you over 35. That's not the thing. It's the birth rate, right? Women are made to produce kids, primarily between the ages of, when they're very fertile, I guess you could say. It becomes a lot more difficult. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm not trying to be mean to a woman or anything. I'm just saying, trust me, there's plenty of women over 35 that they can find a way to have sexual relations, if you will. So, but that goes with that. So, and one more thing I want to mention today, because remember, these shows are half hour now. We're approaching the half hour mark, and I don't want to keep you guys hanging on too long. And I think these half hour shows are working out pretty good. So, um, Team USA basketball, Drama City going on. If you guys are familiar with USA basketball, it's LeBron and his team basically having a good time. All his buddies just hanging out. But Kawhi Leonard, um, I would say a little overrated NBA player. I'm never not a big Kawhi fan. I know there's a lot of people that are, but for me personally, I'm not really a fan of him. And he left the USA basketball team. He's not participating this year's Olympics. So there was an opening, and first of all, I think Jaylen Brown was snubbed, not making the team initially, even as a backup, like a bench player. I think that was pretty messed up. Especially he was the Finals MVP. He just won an award for like the best character person on his team in the ESPYS Awards. He's an overall quality player, very good, nice compliment to Tatum. Some would argue here in Boston, he's a better player than Tatum, and a more not as likable as a person, but more likable as a player than Tatum. And I think Brown. I'm on the camp that Brown is a better player than Tatum. Leave your comments below. Tell me why he isn't. I'm curious to know your opinion, but I just think overall, I would take Brown on the court any day over Tatum if I had the choice between the two. And back when we were looking at trading and stuff, a couple years ago, I was all about trading Tatum and keeping Brown. But without that said, Brown has been snubbed multiple times by not making the all NBA team this year. A lot of things not happening with him. Not getting the respect and the respect and the ability to be put up on a higher level. And I think it's unfortunate because he's a very talented player. But here's something right here. So this is another TikTok that I found. And they pretty much snubbed Brown. And they told, oddly enough, Derek White, who's also a quality player. He's a good 4 on a court. He's nowhere close to Kawhi. Brown is a closer player to Kawhi in all elements of it, which makes me believe that Brown pissed someone off. And I don't know who he pissed off, but they don't like him for some reason. So here's the video that I found right here. Kawhi Leonard is returning from the U.S. team from Paris and will be placed with sources say me and Joe Verdon, Boston's Derek White is a strong. Oh, so this is old. Derek White was the candidate. So here's the video. I don't know if the sound's working or not. Let's see. Yeah, I don't think the sound's working on this thing. Or if it is, it's not. Maybe that sounds a little better for you. I'm not picking up the closed caption, but let's see. Yeah, so it's not playing. All right. We gotta fix that problem next week. But in a nutshell, Kawhi was replaced replaced by Derek White, and he should have been replaced by Brown. Yeah, I'm gonna check next week if this was actually playing. But all right, well, that's the case right there. I don't know what your opinion on that is. I think that he should have been replaced he should have replaced Kawhi Leonard. Brown, don't get me wrong, is a great player. I do enjoy watching him play. But there's a few other better plays in the NBA that could have taken place. But who am I? I'm just some middle-aged man from Boston who, spends a overwhelming and an unhealthy amount of his life watching Boston sports on a regular. So at the end of the day, who am I? Who am I to tell you anyways, right? But with that said, that concludes this Friday edition of the show. Like I said, we're gonna be doing the show twice a week, Mondays and Fridays at 4:30 to 4:45. We'll start. It's if you're watching it live, it's either gonna be 4:30 or 4:45 in between that window. And you can also get it anytime you want on YouTube. And that is it right there for you guys. So leave your comments below. Let me know what you guys think. I'm curious to get your opinion on all this stuff. Thank you guys for watching. This will be my last Friday in my 30s. Next time we talk on a Friday, I will be the big 4-0. So I know I don't look it. I know I look 28, guys. But I thank you ahead of time. And I hope you liked kind of us sharing the videos. We're trying some new things here. I'm working on this production over here. So that's about it. My dog's eating the chips. Henry, can you get Tommy out of the chips? I think his head is stuck in the bag of chips. Yeah, okay, we'll deal with that problem. But thank you guys, and we'll see you guys. Monday. Hope you guys have a good week. Bye.
The Arty 84 Show.